I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Alexander Wilke, the co-founder of Pendulum. Alex, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time today.
Hi Ashton, thanks for having me, and it's great to be here. Great to talk blockchain.
Definitely, and DeFi specifically. I feel like 2023 is going to be a big year, especially after the issues of centralized exchanges, more people looking for different decentralized finance options. I feel like that's a huge narrative moving forward as the market turns around in cryptocurrency. I appreciate you taking the time to come on so close to the launch of Pendulum, and I'm excited to dive into it. So let's just kick it off from the top to start for the viewers. Let's hear a little bit about what you and your team have built at Pendulum, how it's working within DeFi, and then we'll dive into all the details.
All right, great. So Pendulum is a Fiat Forex infrastructure blockchain, and we're building a platform where everyone, and especially businesses, which we're focusing on, have equal access to foreign exchange and rates that banks usually getting. So we're building an alternative Forex market on chain, which is pretty exciting to go for. We were trying already years before of putting such a cross-border payment journey on chain and hit different limits. It wasn't working with blockchains that were already out there. So we decided, all right, let's bring it on ourselves. And all the DeFi innovation that we saw can be actually pretty well used for bringing Forex on chain. And we're definitely very excited to it.
No, that's very exciting because the Forex market is a huge market compared to cryptocurrencies even. And to be able to use the technology, combine the best of both, I think that's great, and it will definitely drive a lot of adoption of the technology if we can move the people that are doing world trade onto the blockchain and provide benefits for them. And you mentioned there you and your team obviously have been thinking about this for a while as you continue to build out, going through the trials and tribulations of what current blockchain infrastructure wouldn't work and how you've built Pendulum to fit the glove. Can you talk a little bit about that journey and why we haven't seen Forex move into DeFi sooner?
Yeah, so but what we were missing mostly were these stable coins first. So we only had the Stellar blockchain, which had over 15 different stable coins, focus mainly on Latin America, African currencies also. So you could exchange already a Mexican peso to a Tanzanian shilling, for example, or euro to dollar also. So there were these exchanges, but the liquidity on their protocol own DEX was not enough for businesses actually to transact, let's say 10,000, 100,000 or even bigger transactions. That's why we were very happy when the AMMs developed and Uniswap came in the game, and also some more like Curve, some more DEXs that were specialized on these stablecoin swaps. So we tried to build the journey even without them and had to add a lot of intermediaries like a market maker or a liquidity provider on that. So now this got all automated, and we thought, okay, let's build this together to put all the pieces together. So we got the AMMs, we got a nice blockchain infrastructure, like a secure platform that works better for fiat and stablecoins, so specifically for that use case. Then plug it in, and it's. I'm very happy that a lot of assumptions that we actually took last year were going in the right direction, and were even proven by other big players recently that Forex is actually possible to put them on chain, right? So that was a big question mark still last year.
Amazing, that's great to hear. And what are some of the main, objectives that you have to first to build the foundation of putting Forex on DeFi? You mentioned there about stable coins. Obviously, that's important for DeFi, but normally people are just using some USDC, and there's not all these different currencies. There's just like the US dollar. So when you make Forex, we have to make the euro and the Japanese yen and all these different currencies. I'm curious if that actually has to tie into the fiat on and off ramp as well of those national currencies. How do you make all that work?
Yes. So we kick off our launch with the assets actually from the Stellar blockchain. So we'll bridge over with a trustless bridge concept called Spacewalk, and this will be specifically configured for the Stellar blockchain to bridge over some of the stable coins already. So we'll start off with already like 15 plus stable coins on Pendulum with that. So that's essential, of course, if you want to build a Forex market, that you have different coins there. And we will more or less follow also the concept that Stellar did there, that the actual issuers of the stable coins are also the Fiat on and off ramps. So these are the same parties. They are issuing the tokens, they're taking, let's say, the Fiat in the traditional banking system and issuing them on chain. And whenever there is an off ramp happening, they're redeeming the stable coins and will issue that payment in the traditional banking system. That works pretty nicely. We did some alpha and prototypes already from Europe to Tanzania. I think it took in total 3 minutes, and the money was then on the account, on the bank account actually in Tanzania. So only in Europe and US actually, with the old banking systems, they take days sometimes. Actually, the other banking systems in the other countries are usually much faster from our experience. Tested them, yeah. So yeah, you need to do that. You need the stable coins. Then our platform, so Pendulum, will also offer some major functions that you need, like price feeds or specifically the smart contracts for these stable coins themselves. We'll put them in our runtime, so they run faster. Builders can build with them much faster, so they don't need to build the whole infrastructure themselves, because they can already like put some code pellets together, right? And our CTO also did some testing. So if the smart contract runs in these runtime pallets, as we call them, in the Polkadot space or in the substrate space, they run up to 100 times faster than a normal smart contract on chain, which is also a great advantage, I think, specifically for builders and protocols that want to build something with the use case, Fiat, stablecoin, Forex, right?
Definitely. And I mentioned there, in sort of traditional crypto stablecoins, Circle and USDT, but mainly Circle and USDC, which has grown quite significantly. I saw that they put out a paper on Forex on chain. I'm guessing your team looked into that. I feel like this is a turning point where the industry is now paying attention. Forex is just such a huge opportunity to capture, to be able to put this into the blockchain space. Like now's the perfect time to be launching Pendulum.
Yeah, it was a big relief actually, and also a big excitement that we could just read up, let's say, all our strategy sessions from the last 2 years in that paper, more or less. So I can really recommend reading that, coming out from Uniswap and Circle, and yeah, there are great researchers who put some numbers there, who explained the case, why it is important. And the main problems, we always said, it is time, so the transaction speed, the cost, and transparency, right? I think in the paper, more or less, what you can read is that it is actually, yes, about time, cost, but then also the third one, like the transparency one, that changed a bit, that you avoid the settlement risk actually that you have in the traditional world. And I think it got a little bit of the learnings of last year, so where we saw some failures from centralized financial organizations a lot. So you don't have that risk that there's just something not there which is written in the balance sheet, right, or has a different value that you cannot review 24/7. So this transparency, which we always also focused on or were highlighting, got, I think, a lot more important. So I think that's the best advantage now we can have. That we can put this market on a transparent public blockchain, right? And with that, everyone can access it, and everyone can review it, can audit it whenever they want. So it has actually a much higher security than in the traditional market, where you also have to pay in advance to trust someone, and you get your exchange back, right? So this is all built into a smart contract where you have a payment versus payment transaction, which is automated. There's no intermediary looking after that. This runs on chain. And I think this gives everyone, the credibility, also the security and the trust to act also with higher amounts on chain. I think the industry learned a lot and moved a lot from these security destabilities also last year. I mean, there also have been a lot of hacks on public blockchains and bridges and so on last year, and I think also the industry moved there and improved there a lot, increasing security and going more for trustless operations, trustless architectures of smart contracts.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful to see that transition, bring more transparency and self-custody to the nature of Forex. It's very exciting. And you mentioned there a couple times though about just the speed and the cost. And that's sort of been an issue in traditional blockchains, at least with Ethereum. To not be able to settle instantaneously or to have like quite a bit of cost if you're doing a very small transaction, to not have the transaction fee be too high of a percentage of like the total cost. Do you think that where Pendulum is at the launch, that will be optimized, or will we continue to see faster and cheaper as you work out how Forex is going to continue to build from end of this year and continuing on future years?
So, comparing to Ethereum, there are different levels. So you have the blockchain level, where Ethereum, was most of the time had this fee market, and then fees were jumping, right? And there was a lot on the chain happening, and then also sometimes when a game was launched, it was very expensive to pay or invest for something else, and so there were these dynamics. And I think now they moved to proof of stake. Also, Polkadot. We're launching as a parachain of Polkadot. December, we just won the crowd loan for that. Our lease spot starts in February, and actually, what the concept of Polkadot is, so the fees from the blockchain are actually paid for 2 years with that crowd loan. So we're flexible from the business model or from the running of this blockchain with the fees, but this is only one very small part. Usually these fees they serve spam protection and so on, so that not everyone can send unlimited messages on the network, etc. But what the main fees usually are in Forex is for the currency exchange. So someone has to provide the liquidity for the different currencies, and then there is an order book. Then there's some slippage happening between currency rates and so on. And we we're very excited that we have a Forex AMM actually. So an AMM, a market maker, automated market maker that is specialized, especially on these stablecoin swaps, with even 2x better slippage and fees when you compare this to Curve or a Uniswap V3 Forex market. And with this, we start already off with an exchange of, let's say, not even the main currencies, but from, let's say, Brazilian real to Mexican pesos or Canadian dollars or something. We start off with offering 5 basis points of a fee for a transaction, which is very low. Usually businesses pay 2%, 3%, right, to their bank when they exchange these currencies. And this will work right from the start. That's our goal. And then, of course, with increased liquidity coming to the chain, and we're also expanding to more geographies this year, and bringing even more stable coins onto Pendulum, and more liquidity even, then this can even improve from this 5 basis points. But I think we already set the bar initially pretty high with the 5 basis points as a goal.
Wow, that's really good. Looking forward to seeing it. And now, you mentioned that the launch is very upcoming. Can you talk about what's the plan moving forward in 2023 and the next major milestone for the mainnet?
Yes, definitely. So currently, everyone is hands-on before the launch. So in around 13th December, so it's defined by a block number, so the time is always adjusted, but in about 2 weeks there will be the mainnet launch from Pendulum. So we're starting setting up the nodes, and then also our spacewalk bridge launches and the Forex AMM. So it will be a busy launch week for us there. And thankfully to the Polkadot and also our choice to the Polkadot ecosystem, we're starting with full security already. So the that's nodes, all the transactions are already secured from the first second, secured by the relay chain from Polkadot. So that's multi-billion and very decentralized chain. So that's great. And further down the year, in the second quarter, we're trying to add more features on the infrastructure level, also integrate with more wallets, and bringing on more Fiat on and off ramps in more geographies there. And in Q3, we'll start integrating more and more features for businesses. So we'll have multi-user account management, for example, which is pretty tricky to have. You have, I think, from Ethereum, you have Safe.io who's doing that. Almost everyone is using that to manage their funds, but in other ecosystems, this is pretty rare. And if you want to have your, let's say, finance team working with blockchain, there are still some features missing. So to make this really, let's say, compatible with business needs, there's still some work to do, and we're focusing on that. Also, we're focusing on decentralized identity protocols. We're talking already with some potential partners there. So we want to have this whole journey also being compliant, or that it's possible to do cross-border payment in a compliant manner, and also use the advantages that you have on blockchain. So there could be a reusable KYC process, so you don't have to do this every time again for any on and off ramp that you're using. And there's a lot to come on that. And one of the most important things also that we will work on is, of course, privacy, because you don't want your competitors to see everything. That's also one topic which is needed on blockchain, and I think it will be also one that we will see also for mass use cases here in 2023. So there must be a solution coming out of that. We're also looking already into different angles how we do that. Also, auditors, of course, need to provide maybe a key to look at this and so on. So there is a lot of complexity for that, but we definitely need it. So that's where we all agree. So that's definitely on the roadmap also for end of this year. And of course, much more. So we have real-time price feeds and tons of features more. But for now, we're focusing on the launch and then completing the infrastructure, then starting with business features. I think that summarizes it for this year.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. And there's a lot to go into it. And I'm glad that you mentioned privacy there as well. I feel like, once you move everything on chain, you have that transparency, but then also there's the transparency for all of the competitors to see what you're doing. And building privacy layers or some kind of infrastructure to help protect the business's proprietary information, I feel like is important. So looking forward to that. And
yes.
When you mentioned all of these different use cases for businesses, I'm curious if because when I first think about Forex trading, I think it's just people at their desk that are just trading back and forth currencies all day. But there's a lot of businesses that are international corporations that are working with multiple currencies, or they just want to send currencies to their other unit in a different country, and they're not necessarily just trading back and forth different Forex for profit. Do you see both of these sort of use cases as applicable to Pendulum?
Yes. So first, I think the first wave of implementation and adoption will not necessarily come from the big corporations. Of course, you always read about these projects and their projects, but I think what we already learned is that a lot of SMEs and smaller companies are trading internationally. They're doing import-export. They are dealing and have a lot of international clients or suppliers. And when you buy something, from Asia, from another country, from Latin America, sell it maybe in Mexico or somewhere else. So that's a lot of trade going on, also not only on the corporation level. And these companies move very fast. Some of them are already paying for some services in USDT, USDC, right? Some are sending Bitcoins around. So this is already a use case. But of course, to bring this to a wider adoption, you have to, let's say, also target or adopt or adapt the system to some not so crypto savvy people and not so crypto savvy processes. And that's what we're trying to do, to increase and widen actually this the target audience, the use case for those, so they can use, in the best case, they can use Pendulum as an alternative banking account where they can then transact internationally with very low fees and of course no monthly fees or something like that, which would be the best outcome of our journey, I would say, by end of the year. And
amazing.
Regarding privacy, also one thing. It's a major problem. I think we can agree on that for everyone, and we learned that also a lot. And this is definitely one of the bigger topics that we also have because of the compliance. So when you want to act in Europe, you want to pay your salaries to your staff or something, you can't avoid it, and it's actually legally required that you protect that data to a minimum standard. Yeah. It's not really something that we want to do. It's actually required to bring more business and more users to blockchain. Yeah.
Great point. And for the upcoming launch, what is the best way for the viewers and businesses to learn more about the platform and speak to the communities and follow along for when the launch is happening?
Yeah, I would say Twitter is always a good idea to follow us on Twitter and look what we're doing. We're almost communicating everything, every progress over there. Then at the launch, we would be happy if you try us out, give feedback in the community, in Discord, Telegram, wherever you want. So that's also great and appreciated, and will also drive and have an impact on the future roadmap of Pendulum. We will try and build a business community also for blockchain in general. So we really want to move the whole industry a little forward and really widen this target audience because I think that's something we were working on already, like with our team, not only for Pendulum but also before. We're trying to bring those use cases on chain to the mass market and not only to crypto savvy users. And that's where we see best use of our time.
Definitely. Once you can break out of the small market that is Web3 so far and move into the general business and international remittances and Forex, I think your market will 1000x in size. So I'm looking forward to seeing that growth, and I will leave those social links and the link to the platform as well, as you mentioned, in the description box below for the viewers to follow along. Very exciting, Alex. Thank you so much for building something that's has such potential to solve issues in all businesses around the world, really. I think that this is going to be more than just people trading Forex back and forth. This is something that will help businesses. So I appreciate you coming on to the show and explaining Pendulum, and looking forward to the launch in the near future here.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Ashton. Thanks for having me, Ken.